From South Carolina Public Radio, this is Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. Hi, I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray, and this week we're walking that runway and exploring the history of fashion.
That's right, Brand. Stick around for some stylish games this hour. We'll see how well you remember fashion fads throughout history, test your knowledge of celebrity trendsetters, and see if you can tell real stories about the origins of famous fashion brands apart from the one I made up.
And if you want to be a trendsetter and join us for these games, all you got to do is call or text us, 803-470-6347. That's 803-470-6347. Or you can send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org. You'll get a shot at the title of Who What When Champion of the Week. And there's nothing more fashionable than this, Dano. The Who What When fanny pack.
You want to talk fashion, you talk accessories. You want to talk accessories, you talk fanny pack. Who, what, when fanny pack brand.
You're not lying, Dan. I wear mine almost every day, and I get compliments on it on the regular.
I've been with you when you've gotten compliments.
I know.
And it's quite handsome.
Thank you.
And Brand, I guess I owe you some compliments on the outfit you have on right now. I've tried not to mention it, but just if you just go ahead and describe it for folks at home.
Well, I appreciate it. And I'm glad you noticed because you don't normally notice.
That's right.
In honor of today's episode, I am wearing a full Louis Vuitton velour tracksuit. So that's...
And when you say Louis Vuitton, you mean Louis Vuitton.
I don't.
You don't?
No. So what happened was I got... Some might say conned. I think I got the better of the bargain there because you can't tell. You can't tell that it's not.
It says Vuitton on the outside, Vooton.
But it's cool and it's chic.
Okay.
And it was cheaper.
It is very chic.
But
yeah.
I do have it paired with these Gucci slides.
You mean Gucci?
No.
You mean Gucci slides, yeah?
No. But
Gucci?
Gucci.
I can see the Gutchy. I see what they did there, yeah.
I just think that people can't tell from afar.
No. And what you're doing, I see what you're doing.
Yes.
This is like a throwback of fashion, like the mid-aughts, like the mid-2000s.
100%. I think it's all coming back.
You think so?
I do.
And we're ready for it with this episode, Brand. I can tell you that. This is all about the history of fashion. But we're not just talking about the Gucci's and the Vuittons,
right?
From, the trends from the early 2000s. We're going to be looking back on a lot of different styles that have gone in and out of popularity over the years, including some going back as far as the 1400s.
Oh, thank God. I can't wait to hear about those 15th century threads.
I know, you're champing at the bit. But before we get to that general fashion history, I wanted to briefly touch on the history of something closely related to fashion. That's right, the department store.
The department store. Dan, we can't talk about fashion without talking about where most of us would see these styles in the first place.
At least, a few decades ago anyway. So as far as we can tell, the idea of a store offering a wide range of goods under one roof goes back to at least the 1700s, with many historians usually pointing to Harding, Howell and Company's Grand Fashionable magazine in London as the first modern department store.
Whoa, you're telling me it was both grand and fashionable? Tell me more, Dan.
Thanks, Brent. I certainly will. The store opened in 1796 and catered mostly to middle-class women, a group that was newly affluent at the time, thanks in large part to the economic, technological, and societal changes brought on by the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
Harding, Howell and Company gave these folks a space where they could freely browse and shop the latest furs, hats, jewelry, and more, all from the luxury of one store.
I got to be honest with you, Dan. I was on the fence, but this does sound both grand and fashionable.
Right? It's like Amazon, but for shopping.
Incredible.
Throughout the 18 and 1900s, the department store began to grow into what we now know today. Innovations were happening all over the world, including here in the U.S., Europe, and Japan, but the U.K. continued to be influential in this area. In fact, many historians look to the Great Exhibition, which was kind of a big World's Fair hosted in London in 1850, as a lasting influence on department stores.
How so?
Thanks for asking, Bran. One of the focal points of the Great Exhibition was the Crystal Palace, a venue built to host the 15,000 exhibitors who brought the latest in fashion, consumer goods, and technology from around the world. Millions of people came through the Crystal Palace that year, and it was considered so important to British leadership that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert presided over the opening.
I will say this, Dan, it sounds very important. Now, what kind of impact did the Crystal Palace have on history?
I'm glad you asked. Aside from hosting this major event, the building itself was revolutionary in that it was constructed using cast iron and some 300,000 glass panes, which would have been fairly new inventions at that point. It was bright, airy, and ornate, featuring fancy statues and fountains, as well as some of the world's first public restrooms. And all of those choices would have a major influence on how department stores and later shopping malls would be designed and built for the next 150 years.
Dan, this was amazing. I didn't know any of this.
You didn't know any of this?
I didn't know any
You're
of it.
Mr. Fashion with your luxury brands and your Gucci over here.
Yeah, well, listen, you might know about the history, Dano, but I know how to wear the fashion.
I can't argue with that, Brand. Let's see if our contestants also know that history. We've got two on the line who are ready to play right now.
Contestant number one, what's your name and where are you from?
Good morning. This is Justin from Columbia, South Carolina.
Justin from Columbia, South Carolina.
You know what I love is
Hometown boy.
Justin, he could have called any week, and he called this week on the Fashion Week, and I love that. I love that about Justin.
Justin, did you get a feeling that it was going to be Fashion Week and decided it was time to call in?
Was that what happened?
Yeah, I had an inkling, if you will.
Now,
might be
Justin,
talking fashion.
If you were to describe your day-to-day fashion for us, how would you kind of describe that?
Well, as I sit here in my tie-dye shirt and jeans, I would say my day-to-day fashion is very similar to that.
Okay.
So,
he's wearing tie-dye on a Saturday. You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. I love
right.
a tie-dye.
Yeah, love a tie. Of course you do. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, Justin, you're caller number one. You're going to be playing against caller number two. Caller number two, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hey there, this is Mary Alex calling from Newberry, South Carolina.
Newberry, South Carolina. I had a buddy that went to Newberry College, and he called it Newberry.
They cracked it. They found a Newberry.
That's right, a Newberry. They got a playhouse up there. Yeah, it's it's Opera House. That's what
I
it
was
is.
like, what? They just go, they
Yeah.
just kind of play around?
Right? Am I wrong about that, Mary Alex? Don't.
No, I was going to fully correct you that it is our opera house.
Yeah, it's an opera house.
Thank you.
Man, that was you've never
Yeah,
sounded
I'm
dumber.
so embarrassed.
That was
and
tough.
I think I know fashion.
That was
That's
tough
crazy.
for all of us. Mary Elizabeth, if you
It's
were
Mary Alex, God Almighty.
who the heck is
Yeah,
Mary Elizabeth?
yeah, opera house.
Do you have a
sounds-
dog named Clifford?
Yeah.
Mary Alex, if you were to describe your fashion, how would you describe it?
Well, today I'm wearing my finest Kirkland signature sweatshirt.
Oh,
and,
snap.
Shout out K-Sig.
handmade artisan hamburger earrings that I got from our local art center. Shout out to the
Hamburger earrings.
Heck
Okay.
yeah.
I love that.
All right, we have Justin and Mary Alex, who both sound like they have some style. Hopefully that will help them out in our first game today. It's one called What Are Those Win?
Oh, I love it, Dan. But I think you need to add a little more oomph. What are those? Win.
What are those win? Better?
Much better. Mary Alex and Justin, here's how the game's going to work. Dan is going to describe 10 often ridiculous fashion trends from history, some of which are hundreds of years old. For each one, you'll get 3 choices as to which decade or century this fashion was popular. Guess the correct one, and it gets yourself a point.
Justin, first question is all yours. Are you ready to play a little What Are Those Win?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Originally designed by French couturier Paul Poiret, with his inspiration supposedly being Sister Catherine Wright's plan for flying, hobble skirts were a trend for about a half a decade during this century. A style that significantly limited a woman's walking stride by narrowing the fabric at the ankles. Was that A, the 1800s, B, the 1900s, or C, the 2000s?
All right. Well, I have no clue, but based on the context, thinking of some, images that I'm drawing up from, high school, thinking of the 1800s, this sounds like something that would have been popular in the 1800s. So I'm going to go with that.
He's going with 1800s. He's incorrect. We're looking for 1900s. I tried my best. The Sister Catherine Wright's plan for flying. Who was famous for inventing flight here? The Wright brothers. Their sister was Catherine Wright, and when she flew in the first plane that they had, she had to make sure her skirt didn't fly up in the air, and she started with that, and then this French guy made a full fashion line.
How about that?
Based on it, and it was the early 1900s.
And they called it the hobble skirt.
Yep.
To make
Not
it
a
as
great
embarrassing as possible. You just kind of hobble around.
What we did is we went hobble skirt right out of the gate here.
I love that. I love that for
First
us.
question.
I love that.
All right, Mary Alex, you got a chance to take an early lead here on what are those when? Here's your first question. Throughout the Renaissance in these centuries, chopines were all the rage for women with social status, particularly in Venice, Italy. These were platform shoes that helped protect their dresses from the dirt in the streets.
Oh.
That is, if they could balance. Chopines were routinely upwards of 2 feet.
2
in height.
feet?
So that A, the 1500s, B, the 1900s, or C, the 1200s.
Oh, goodness. I got so distracted by the height of the shoe.
2 feet, Mary Alex.
That's right.
I think I'm going to go with 1500.
A, the 1500s. That was during the Renaissance, and that is correct. She's on the
I remembered
board.
my timeline.
Good for you. And you're on the board with an early lead. Justin, got to get that fashion going. You got to tie the game back up right here with your next question all about fashion history. While starting earlier, the powdered wig for males became a mainstay in high society as a status symbol during this century, as our founding fathers can attest.
As can I.
They also helped mask hygiene issues like lice, baldness, or even disease. Brand can attest because you wore one that one time.
I did wear one that one time.
The Founding Fathers episode. You remember.
Tough day.
Justin, is that A, the 1500s, B, the 1600s, or C, the 1700s?
All right. Well, I believe the hint about the founding fathers points me to the 1700s. So I'm going to go with that.
He's going to go with 1700s, and he is correct, and he's on the board.
Listen, he had to get
That's
that
right.
first one wrong.
That's right. Hobble skirts are behind us.
That's
you know
exactly
what I mean?
right.
More ways than one.
He's clearly come to play.
Yeah,
he's clearly come to play.
It's a tie ball game.
That's right.
We're talking about crazy fashion trends that happen throughout history. Mary Alex is next. Here's your question. During this century, particularly following the Civil War, hoop skirts reached a fever pitch. Made of steel wires and cotton tape, they provided large bell-shaped silhouettes that were almost impossible to maneuver through a doorway.
So practical.
Is that A, the 1700s, B, the 1800s, or C, the 1900s?
Okay, so I heard after the Civil War and know that those bell-shaped hoop skirts can be very popular in some Southern traditions. I think I'm going to go with 1800s.
1800s is correct. Now we
got a couple ballers
Now
today.
we're
All right.
rolling.
Imagine walking around in a hoop skirt and your platform shoes that are 2 feet tall. That's
You
just
rule the world.
you could do anything.
That's right. This is something Brand might wear in a future episode.
Well, 100%.
And also-
I didn't know 2 feet tall platform shoes were even a possibility.
At that point, they're just stilts, right?
Yeah, those are
they're
stilts.
just stilts.
What is this?
They're short.
What is that? What are we
stilts.
playing? Banana ball out
That's
there?
crazy. This is a defense mechanism against just people.
Exactly
I'm
right.
2 feet higher with a cage around me. All right. Justin, your next question here on what are those when? Although taking off as a retro look, courtesy of Raquel Welch just beforehand, this is considered to be the decade of the shoulder pad, with celebrities like Princess Diana, Oprah Winfrey, Annie Lennox, and many more making them a fashion mainstay. Is that the 1970s, the 1980s, or the 1990s?
So my first thought before you read the choices was the 80s. And you mentioned Princess Diana, Oprah Winfrey in there. So I'm going to go with the 80s as far as when that took off.
Justin's locked in now. He's correct. That is the 1980s.
I've also worn shoulder pads on this show. So
That's right. Yeah.
This is nice. This
It's
is a
nice.
nice,
It's nice to
game
be
for me.
honored.
Like just I remember
That's
the
Nice to
episodes.
remember. And also to get like some ideas, some inspiration
Absolutely.
for future eps of what you're wearing. That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Mary Alex, this is a tie ball game again. Here's your next question. We're talking fashion here on Who, What, When. While parachute pants existed before MC Hammer, the rapper's use of them in his You Can't Touch This music video made them a mainstay in the United States early in this decade. Is that A, the 1970s, B, the 1980s, or C, the 1990s?
Oh, goodness. I felt very confident about 1990s before you laid out the choices. I think I'm going to have to stick with that. I hope I'm right, and I hope the parachute pant never comes back.
She hopes the parachute pant never comes back. She's correct in that hope and in her answer.
I don't know. I think they might be on their way back.
probably
The
are.
wide-legged,
Jinkos are back,
wide-leg pant leg is pretty popular right now. So we're halfway there.
Dude, I remember when You Can't Touch This came out.
Yeah.
What a moment. What a moment. Changed the game.
Bomb.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We don't want to get flagged, but
No,
that is how
that's
that
as
goes.
much as I can legally
That's right.
give you.
Yeah, super
But it's
freaky.
also now in your head.
Mary Alex is now taking the lead again. The board is back to Justin to tie this thing up. Justin, here's your next question. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert were responsible for quite a few fashion trends in their day, but none quite as unsettling as the one Victoria adopted upon the death of Albert. Hair lockets.
Come again?
Carrying around a single lock of hair of your loved one around your neck expanded to bracelets, earrings, and even decorative wreaths.
Oh, I wish it wouldn't.
During this century. A, 1700s, B, 1800s, or C, 1900s?
Okay, well, I know it's not the 1900s.
You'd hope
And
so.
then
You'd hope
I
not.
think I think of Queen Victoria. I believe she was in the 1700s, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Incorrect. We were looking for the Victorian age, which we had a whole episode about the Victorian age here, who went when. Justin, we're looking for the 1800s. So close. I believe both of the ones you've gotten wrong. You've been one set just barely off on both of them, just choosing the century right before it. That's incorrect. Mary Alex, you've got a chance to take a commanding lead here early here on Who, What, When. We're talking fashion. See if you can guess the correct time period for this fashion trend. For a brief time in this century, upper-class men wore macaronis. Yes, named after the pasta dish, even though it didn't look like macaroni at all. It featured tall, exaggerated wigs, bright colors, and tight pants designed for young nobles, particularly in England. King George would have approved. Is that A, the 1600s, B, the 1700s, or C, the 1800s?
I got to go Yankee Doodle Dandy answer on this with 1700s when King George was in power.
Mary Alex is dialed in. That is correct. King George III.
I love that
macaronis everywhere.
Yeah, I think at one point we all as kids made like macaroni art, maybe even rocked a macaroni necklace, as did some very high class folks.
That's right.
A long time
That's
ago.
right.
I love
Shout
that.
out.
I
Shout
love
out to
that.
the macaroni hat.
Listen, if you don't look at macaroni and go, boy, what could I do with this?
What could I do with that? There's a lot of possibilities.
What are you even doing?
All right, we're playing What Are Those When here on Who, What, When. Talking about fashion trends throughout history. Justin, your last question of the round. Columbus could have possibly sailed the ocean blue in Craco shoes, also known as poulaines, which were most popular in Europe during this century. Known for their elongated, pointy tips, they were considered extreme fashion and bothered some so much that they were even banned in England. A, 1400s, B, 1500s, C, 1600s.
All right. Well, again, the context clue, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, 1492. So I'm going to have to go with the 1400s.
He knew his rhyme and knew the answer. It was Columbus in the 1400s.
Brother, these are elf shoes.
They're elf shoes.
And they are phenomenal.
Yeah. They were only popular for about 8 or 9 years.
Bring them back. Bring them back. These are phenomenal.
Walk, walk,
I would
walk,
wear.
sashay.
I would wear these today.
Yeah, of course you would. You
I
might
gotta get Janie on this.
Get Janie on it right now. That price point's going to be high.
It's gonna
Mary
be worth
Alex,
it.
you got a chance to take a 2-point lead. Your last question of the round here, talking about fashion on Who, What, When, as you expected we would get to eventually. This decade is considered to be an iconic one of women's fashion. The miniskirt, go-go boots, Jackie Kennedy pillbox hats. But it also included the paper dress, a block dress made of, you guessed it, paper, typically printed with flowers or geometric patterns. Is that the 1940s, the 1950s, or the 1960s?
Lots of great clues in there, including the Jackie O hat. I'm going to have to go with 1960.
1960s. It's a perfect round for Mary Alex.
That's
And that's the end of Who, What Are Those When?
This is Who What When. I'm Brandon Gray here with my co-host Daniel Thompson. We're styling and profiling with games about the history of fashion today.
Our contestants Justin and Mary Alex did beautifully in our first round. We'll see if they can keep it going for our next game about fashion styles made popular by celebrities.
That and more coming up after this break here on Who What When.
Welcome back to Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson here with my good buddy Brandon Gray, and today we're playing quizzes about the history of fashion.
We're having a good time doing it, Dan. Before we get back to these games, a quick reminder that you can be a contestant on a future episode of Who, What, When. It's so simple, Dan. All you got to do is call or text 803-470-6347, or if you'd rather, you could just send us an email, whowhatwhen@svpublicradio.org.
That's right, Bran. We've got two great contestants playing with us today, Mary Alex and Justin, both from South Carolina. Mary Alex is currently in the lead, but Justin may have a shot at victory with this second round and a game about celebrity fashion trendsetters. It's one called Project What Way?
Very nice. Justin and Mary Alex, here's how the game will go down. We've got 10 questions about style trends from the past 60 years. For each one, you'll get 3 celebrities who possibly helped make that trend popular. All you gotta do is tell us the correct celebrity, and the point is yours.
All right, Justin, the first question in Project What Way is yours. Velour tracksuits were so hot in the early 2000s because of this socialite and heiress wearing them when she was doing, well, whatever she was doing. That wasn't the point. She was just popular.
That's right.
A, Nicole Richie. B, Paris Hilton. C, Snooki.
Well, something so hot, I believe that's a term from Paris Hilton, so I'm going to go with that.
Paris Hilton is correct.
Should you ever, be honest, Justin, you ever watch A Simple Life?
I can honestly say I did not. But I know about the show.
We just got word. That's a lie.
Yeah.
But
we have them all hooked up to polygraph.
we do. That's the thing you have to do on the show is a polygraph thing.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
exactly
fine.
right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
I watched A Simple Life. I'm ashamed to say it.
Yeah. I've not seen it, but you love reality TV and I
love
don't, so
reality
there's
TV.
that. Mary Alex, a chance to get that lead back up to 2. We're playing Project What Way here. This hairstyle became so famous that it was named the Rachel after Jennifer Aniston's character on this 1990s, early 2000s sitcom juggernaut. A, Seinfeld. B, Scrubs. C, Friends.
I'm going to be honest. As soon as you said this hairstyle, I knew you were going to talk about the Rachel from Friends.
Yeah, we had to.
You have to talk about
Yeah,
the
I can't have
Rachel.
this category without the Rachel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Alex, do you ever wear the Rachel?
I have curly hair, so it wore me.
It wore you. It wore you.
Sure.
It wore you. I'd like to
Yeah.
think that it wore her.
100%.
You know what I mean? That's exactly right. All right, Mary Alex, that is correct. Leads back up to 2. Justin, pressure's on to keep getting correct answers. Here's your next question. Throughout her career, this pop singer has started so many fashion trends, but none as unlikely as this one. Oops, she did it again with the newsboy cap.
Mm-hmm.
After wearing it, the old-timey hat became a common accessory for teen and tween girls during the early 2000s. Is that A, Christina Aguilera, B, Madonna, C, Britney Spears?
Well, I can't really recall this style that we're talking about from the early 2000s, but based on the context clue, I believe that's going to be Britney Spears.
It's going to be Britney Spears. He is correct.
You're so lucky.
Dude, you're a
star.
Man. No kidding.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You've listened to Britney Spears, clearly, right, Justin?
I mean, if it came on the radio, I might not have changed the channel.
There you
we go.
are. All
Now
right.
we're talking.
All right.
We're talking.
He's back, baby.
Yeah.
That is true.
If he was going to say no to that, I was going to be like, bro, you're toxic.
Yeah. Nailed it.
All right, Mary Alex, it's a 1-point game. We're playing Project What Way, talking about celebrities that made certain fashion famous. Here's your next question. Nothing says undercover cop in the city where the heat is on like sock-free loafers and T-shirts under neon Armani blazers. A look popularized in the 1980s by Don Johnson on this City and Name TV show. Is that A, Miami Vice, B, Nashville, C, Dallas.
Okay, I got a little nervous when I heard no socks loafers. But as you continue to talk, I realized I went to the city earlier this year and it still holds up very similar style. I'm going to go with Miami Vice.
Miami Vice is correct. All right, Mary Alex continues to be perfect here on the fashion episode. Justin, the pressure is on. Here's your next question on Project What Way. Some call it a leather moto jacket, others a biker jacket. But in the 80s, it was named after this pop star royalty, whose red and black versions changed the fashion game and became his signature look. Is that A, George Michael, B, Lionel Richie, or C, Michael Jackson?
All right. Well, I'm not 100% confident in this answer, but hearing the question, pop star royalty, Michael Jackson's the king of pop. So I'm going to go with Michael Jackson.
The king of pop is correct. Justin thought it out, talked it out, heard the clue, and got it right. Nice work, Justin. That's Michael Jackson. I will say all three of those singers,
Sorry,
I don't
guys.
think you can air that.
Well, sure you can.
No way. No, that's 100% podcast maybe. Maybe podcast version. Maybe.
Podcast.
Nah, bro. Nah. That all three of those singers did wear leather jackets on the cover of things.
That's
And
true.
that was
true. I distinctly remember Lionel Richie rocking a leather jacket. I don't remember George Michael, but yeah,
he had to. Yeah.
He had to.
Come
All
on.
because of
Wham.
MJ.
All right.
Wham.
Here we go. Mary Alex keeping the perfect game alive. Your next question here on Project What Way. Diane Keaton's role as this title character from this infamous 1977 Woody Allen rom-com popularized menswear styles like high-waisted suit pants for women, so much so it became Keaton's signature look. Is that A, Sabrina, B, Annie Hall, or C, Margot at the Wedding?
I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Diane Keaton in this particular look. It's going to be B, Annie Hall.
B, Annie Hall is correct. She's got that perfect game going, Bran.
I mean, the fact that we haven't even talked about the perfect game horn is a little bit.
Because Justin doesn't have one.
Again, we can disagree on this all day
We can do-
long.
that's not a perfect
because
guess.
Mary Alex.
We only sound the horn. What are we doing?
We're gonna
Just
that's on me. I don't.
Every time I say that phrase, apparently. Justin,
Mary Alex
it
shouldn't.
could get late early if you cannot keep getting correct answers. We're playing Project What Win. We're talking
We
fashion
sure are.
on Who What Win. Here we go, Justin. After breakfast at Tiffany's, the little black dress became a fashion staple for decades. And it's also one of several fashion trends started or popularized by this 1950s and 60s film icon, including her styles in movies like Sabrina and Funny Face. Is it A, Grace Kelly, B, Audrey Hepburn, C, Elizabeth Taylor?
Shucks. I'm thinking it's either going to be Audrey Hepburn or Elizabeth Taylor is what's kind of jumping out at me.
All right.
And so I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here at Audrey Hepburn.
The shot in the dark connects. He is correct. It is Audrey Hepburn. I'm guessing Mary Alex was screaming on mute over there. The answer to the question. Mary Alex, did you happen to know that one?
Yeah. Within like a couple of words in, I was like, oh yeah, this is Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
And then you paused for a second before going through the multiple choice, and I was like, oh, this is fill in the blank all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But,
No, absolutely.
Glad, to hear Justin get right the poster that was on like every college girls dorm.
That's right.
Wall.
There it is. That's right. Pretty popular poster, pretty popular movie. What about Breakfast at Tiffany's, Bran? Do you think you remember the film line or no?
No.
Okay, cool. I do recall. Mary Alex, you're up.
Can I ask you just a quick follow-up?
Sure.
Do you think that you liked it?
Dude, I think we both kind of liked it.
Kind of liked it?
Kind of, a little bit. That's one thing we've got. Mary Alex, your next question here on Project What Way. Talking fashion on Who What Win and having a blast doing it. Perfect game. Let's see if it continues. This method acting legend of The Godfather rocked a t-shirt and jeans combo in A Streetcar Named Desire, and the simplicity of the look revolutionized men's fashion, taking the normal dress away from traditional and polished to more clean and relaxed. Is that A, James Dean, B, Spencer Tracy, or C, Marlon Brando?
Okay, I'm thinking. I feel pretty confident that it's going to be.
Your dog's trying to help you. Listen to your dog.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you
No,
can hear
listen to
me.
the dog.
right,
The
no,
dogs
no.
know stuff like this.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident it's going to be James Dean.
She said James Dean. She's incorrect.
Oh!
Incorrect. We're actually looking for Marlon Brando, who did James Dean before James Dean.
Wow.
The clue there was The Godfather.
Ah.
That was the Godfather was the clue there. That was a tough one. All right, Justin, you need this one to stay alive. The door might creak back open here if you get this one right. All right, well, we gotta oil that
Different
door.
than the horn.
Justin, here's your last question on Project What Way. Designed by Giorgio Armani himself, the iconic white suit from 1977's Saturday Night Fever became a disco favorite for years to come and also became synonymous with the actor in the star-turning role. Is that A, John Travolta, B, Burt Reynolds, or C, Dustin Hoffman?
All right. Well, fortunately, I've seen this movie, seen countless images from the movie, and so I know this one is John Travolta.
John Travolta is correct. Justin came on strong here.
He did.
He's made it a game.
He sure has. Justin over here, though, saying he's seen Saturday Night Fever, but not The Simple Life.
Okay.
Okay, Justin.
All right, Justin.
All right.
Whatever you want to tell yourself.
It's fine. I know. It's radio.
All right, Mary Alex. Here's what we've got. If you get this correct, you are moving on to the final round with a chance to win the vaunted Who What When fanny pack.
Wow.
That's no pressure.
No pressure.
Except all the pressure in the world on a Saturday
The
morning.
stakes
Here we go.
literally couldn't be higher.
Your last question. The Wayfarer sunglasses came to popularity in the 50s and 60s in the U.S., but the Aviator sunglasses took over after yet another star turn by blockbuster king Tom Cruise in this movie that felt the need for speed. A, Days of Thunder. B, Top Gun. C, The Color of Money.
Okay, I think this might have something to do with it being aviator sunglasses and flying planes. I'm going to go with Top Gun.
She's going to go with Top Gun. And she's our Who What When champion.
Wow. How about that?
She is correct. The dog came through in the clutch
100%
there.
woof woof to you.
Mary Alex from Newberry, South Carolina, has defeated Justin from Columbia, South Carolina on Fashion Week here on Who What When. Justin, you gave it a valiant effort. Thanks for playing. Thanks for joining us here on Who What When.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good luck, Mary Alex, in the final. And y'all give AT more segment time.
All right, we will.
Wow, this
All
guy
right.
wants more AT. Man, I haven't heard
All
that
right,
before.
Justin, you get back to your Simple Life bench,
That's
bud.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Enjoy.
Thanks, y'all. I had a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thank you,
Justin.
Justin.
Really appreciate it.
This is Who What When. I'm Brandon Gray here with my friend Daniel Thompson.
Our contestant, Mary Alex from South Carolina, has just secured the title of Who What When Champion of the Week. She's now heading to our final round where things get serious because she has a shot at our weekly prize, that Who What When fanny pack.
Let's see if she can go all the way right after this break here on Who What When.
Welcome back to Who What When, an hour of history, games, and trivia from South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson here with my good buddy Brandon Gray, and our topic this week is the history of fashion.
And before we get to our final round, we wanted to let you know that we would love for you to join us as a contestant on a future episode of Who What When. All you gotta do is call or text us, 803-470-6347, or you can send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
This week's contestant, Mary Alex from South Carolina, has won the title of Who What When Champion of the Week.
Amazing.
Now she has a chance at the weekly trophy, that iconic piece of fashion, the vaunted Who What When fanny pack.
It's the fashion accessory of the decade. That's
Of
what
the decade.
many people are
Wow,
saying.
many
that.
are saying
Absolutely,
it.
Yeah, Mary Alex, we like to ask players. Everybody's wondering, what you gonna put in that fanny pack?
Okay, so since it's for the fashion episode, I have been crafting in my mind's eye the perfect 90s mom outfit to
Very
go
nice.
Heck
with
yeah.
the fanny pack. I am a mother of 2 very young children. I can definitely see this fanny pack taking the place of carrying around the big diaper bag.
Oh,
Like, just
100%.
the idea that everything is just right there, ready to go. You need a chapstick. Woo, wah, got it right out. Like I gotta have this thing, guys.
I gotta say,
excited about it.
the fanny pack is big enough to fit at least one diaper and some wipes in it.
Yeah. A diaper and wipes situation.
Diaper and wipes.
Okay, Mary Alex, I want you to get this fanny pack. I really do. All you have to do is make it through our last game today. It's one we play a lot around here. It's History or His Story, Fashion Origins Edition.
Well, it's very intense.
Right.
Mary Alex, here's how History or His Story works. Former history teacher Dan, a notorious liar, has 3 stories from history about the beginnings of famous names from the world of fashion. 2 of these stories are historical fact. The other was entirely made up by my buddy Dan, aka it is his story. And after each story, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. We can talk it out together. I'm on your side here. We'll try to determine if that story is real or not. And after you hear all 3 stories, you'll just have to tell us which one is Dan's lie. That is history or his story.
Here we go. First story is about Louis Vuitton. You're wearing
I'm
Louis
wearing
Vuitton
Louis
today.
Vuitton right now.
So that works out great. Story starts right now. Louis Vuitton is a French fashion house based in Paris, France, with its monogram synonymous with the high fashion and luxury brand.
Which is why I'm wearing Louis.
Of course. In the early 2000s, Louis Vuitton was named the world's most valuable luxury brand 6 years in a row, which is weird because the founder's training was just to make containers and storage units, not clothes at all. In fact, Louis himself died not making any clothes.
Wow.
Yeah. Louis Vuitton was a box maker in France. Yes. That is as boring as it sounds in the 19th century, in the 1800s. And what Louis's big contribution was he saw that trunks for carrying luggage were all round topped. They weren't stackable. Now,
fair.
Why were boxes round topped? It's because if you put them in a boat and they were at sea or in a carriage or anywhere where you would travel in the 1800s, it was for water runoff. So your clothing luggage wouldn't get saturated.
That makes sense.
That's right. So Louis thought, what if we made a flat top normal box to carry? I'm not joking, to carry clothes in. He's basically like, what if we played Tetris?
Yeah. That's forward thinking.
That's exactly right. So Louis Vuitton is the first to introduce the Vuitton trunk. It's a literal gray flat canvas trunk that allowed you to stack trunks on top of each other and made packing and storing those trunks so much easier, especially for long voyages at sea.
Did he put his little logo on it?
No, so not flashy at all.
Okay.
Just practical. But the trunk became so successful that virtually every other luggage designer, they began trying to imitate the stackable flat trunk that Vuitton made.
You got to feel for the round ones, though. Like they're probably pretty sad.
Yeah, the round trunk people are like, what were we doing this whole time?
We blew it.
And so here's the thing is he does end up making specific patterns for his boxes to make them stand out. And after he gains international success for his luggage at the Universal Exhibition in 1867, Louis Vuitton takes his striped luggage box design international. He patents the design, opens up shops in London, and he trademarks the company's design as its signature design for its logo and in the future for its clothing. It wasn't until his death, Bran, that the son of Louis Vuitton, George Vuitton, made the luggage company a worldwide corporation and took products to the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. And by 1913, Vuitton was the largest travel goods store in the world. And by the 1950s, they had made their way into non-travel fashion with the inclusion of purses, bags, wallets, etc. That's the story of the Louis Vuitton brand. Bran, what do you think?
I mean, it tracks for me. Like I know for certain that I have seen a trunk with Louis Vuitton, the logo wrapped around it. Like that's kind of part of the deal there, similar to the bags and the whatnot. So it would make sense that that is where it got its start. So this makes sense to me. Did you make something up that makes sense? It's possible. But are you saying he created the box?
I'm not saying he created the box. Okay. I'm saying he created a box-shaped luggage container.
Because it sounds like you're saying he created the box.
I know that that's how you're hearing it, but that's not what I'm saying. But take it into account. It's fine. Do you, man?
He didn't create the box.
He didn't create the box.
Right?
There's no way. The box is around. That's like with the wheel.
Yeah,
somewhere, right?
He didn't reinvent the box.
Mary Alex, what are you thinking?
It sounds like it could be real. I think I got to hear some of the others to hear if there's something outlandish, but it does seem like that brand is most known for its things you can put their clothes into.
Yeah.
As opposed to clothes themselves.
All right, are we ready for our next story here, Bran?
I'm ready.
All right. Mary Alex, your next story is about Wrangler.
Yeah.
The Wrangler brand is known primarily for their jeans and other clothing items that revolve around workwear and durability. So let me take you to the 1930s outside of Houston, Texas. And let me introduce you to B.B. Mills. That's Bryce Berry Mills II.
I knew
they
it
called
was.
him B.B. for short.
That's right.
B.B. grew up on a ranch in Texas as a member of one of the more wealthy families in the area, owning a ranch and over 3,000 acres of land in West Texas, as well as a factory that made overalls and one-piece outfits for the burgeoning oil industry in Texas. Well, if you know the 1930s, you know that the Great Depression did hit. The Mills family was hit hard by the Great Depression financially. The denim factory closed its doors. The ranch came upon hard times during the Dust Bowl, which was a period during the Depression of severe drought where farmers really took a hit. Now, during that time, Mills worked on his family's ranch, and he also became pretty famous for cooking for workers on the farm because it was something that he loved. He wasn't very big into farming or denim, but he was into cooking. And as ingredients became more scarce during the Great Depression, he became known as the Wrangler, with the ability to find and make food out of the little resources they had at his disposal. So B.B. Mills is now called the Wrangler. Now, the other thing that Mills does is, with the factory closed that made denim for the oil industry, he creates, with scrap denim at his father's factory, a pair of denim pants that he works on the ranch in making the food. My producer just said he wrangles in them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so as he wears these pants, he makes them for his entire family. The durability of Mills's pants were such that by his own admission, he wore one pair of these pants over the course of 3 straight years during the Great Depression. In the late 1930s, the Mills factory reopens and Mills began making his jeans and selling them to local farmers and oilers. And it was during this time, New York fashion designer Norman Norell visits in Houston on business and hears about the Wrangler's jeans. He invites B.B. Mills to come to the World's Fair in 1939 in New York City. Mills sells the jeans and the entire property to Norell, who patents the jeans and the Wrangler brand. The sale, $2,000. B.B. Mills, the Wrangler, $2,000. And the Wrangler jeans are now Wrangler jeans. That's the end of story number 2, Brandon. What do you think?
This is a tale as old as time, brother. You hate to see it. You hate to see BB come to the big city.
That's right.
Think that he's getting a good deal.
Yep.
And then at some point he realizes, I done goofed.
You imagine him in like the 50s or 60s, just seeing cowboys on TV with Wrangler jeans.
Hey, that's mine. It's the scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, where he's like,
that's me.
Yeah,
Those are my jeans.
There it is. Yeah.
I can absolutely believe this good old boy from Texas going to the big city and absolutely getting duped. So, unfortunately, I can see this happen.
Mary Alex, what do you think?
What a cinematic description of someone's life. I almost feel like there's too many facts.
Too much cinema.
Yeah.
Like
painting that picture, the
we're
word picture.
painting a picture maybe a little too fully, so perhaps it's not true.
Okay.
But again, I would go see this film.
Yeah. Great.
So
I don't know. I got to hear the last one.
So Rangs to Riches story. All right. Last story about a fashion brand is Adidas. Adidas.
Okay.
Here we go.
I know those shoes.
Yeah, if you grew up like me, Bran, you were taught that Adidas stood for All Day I Dream About Sports.
100%.
It's so nice.
And for guys like us, it was so true.
It was so true. We dreamed about sports.
We loved
all
the
day.
sports.
That's right. That's nice, but it isn't true at all. And boy, do I wish it were, because the origin of the Adidas brand isn't nearly that simple or that fun.
Oh.
Let me introduce you to German Adolf Dassler.
Can we? We're done. Let's hang it up. I don't want to hear about Adolf.
Adolf Dassler.
We're having a good day.
He was known as Adi by his friends, Adi Dassler. I think you know where we're going, a.k.a. Adi Das. He was known for two things. One, being a member of the German Nazi Party.
No.
Yeah, true story. And two, hating his brother Rudy so much that he started his own fashion company in disgust. No, it's R-U-D-I, Rudy Das, Adi Das and Rudy Das. So Adolf's brother's name was Rudy Dassler. It was Adi and Rudy Das. That's literally what they were called growing up. The Dassler brothers owned a shoe company together before a pretty big split over two things. One, the company's direction as a whole, and two, political beliefs about Germany in post-World War II Germany. So at that point, Adolf and Rudy can't stand the sight of each other, and they start their own separate shoe companies.
Okay.
Rudy leaves Adi and starts his own company. Adolf names his company Adidas. What we now know is Adidas. Adidas. The German Nazi, Adidas. That's where the brand comes from. His nickname was shortened last name together. Rudy originally named his company Ruda. He didn't want to call it Rudy Das, but it didn't stay that way because no one was buying his shoes. Ruda eventually renamed his shoe company to what it is now, Puma.
Puma.
That's
Where
right.
Where did he get that from?
These the cats, you know, the Pumas.
Dumb question. Sorry.
So this bitter family feud between two brothers, Adolf and Rudy, didn't end with their separate companies. Instead, it grew and was passed down to their sons through these two successful fashion companies that are still two of the largest shoemakers and distributors in the entire world. Their town of Germany, which I will not attempt to pronounce, after World War II received the nickname, translated into English, the town of bent necks.
Oh my gosh.
Because locals took aside everyone they would talk to before they would talk to him. They would crane their necks to see what shoes they were wearing before they decided to talk to the individual. You were either Team Rudy or Team Adi. And they were known so much for looking at the shoe brand before determining if they would speak to them. These two companies still remain rivals to this day. That's the end of story number 3. Brant.
Well, I'll say this. You picked a wild day to wear Adidas, Dan. This is quite the story. I unfortunately buy it. This is a tough story. I don't like it. I'll say that much. I don't like it, which means it's unfortunately true. Notoriously, yes.
Mary Alex, what do you think?
I am 99.999%. This is true.
0.99.
That's a lot of nines.
I've heard the Adidas pronunciation before. I know that those are both German companies. I had a little deep dive into some of its very nefarious history because of the whole Kanye thing.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
So either it's true or somehow my brain has connected all of this stuff together prior to today, which is worrisome.
So let's recap. Bran, Mary Alex, your 3 stories in chronological order. Louis Vuitton invents the box. Louis Vuitton invents stackable luggage containers, not fashion, became fashionable. Story number 2, Wrangler, B.B. Mills, the Wrangler in Texas, sells his company to New York fashion designer Norman Norrell for a song. And 3, Adidas, the brothers that fought and feuded, create Adidas and Puma out of a long, bitter feud. Those are the 3 stories. Mary Alex, walk us through your thought process and tell me which story is my story.
Okay. So the first story, you're telling it. Initially, I'm thinking like, this just sounds too plain, too simple. But as things went on, I was like, it really makes a lot of sense for this luxury brand to have started essentially as a luggage company that may or may not have invented the box. And then we go into story number 2, really interesting and very unique story, but it just seems like we have far too many dots connected. We're telling too much of a really complex and complete story. It really feels like somebody spent a lot of time crafting it as opposed to researching it. And the last one, I mean, I'm just so sure that the last one is true based on just things that I've heard over the years and some unfortunate manufacturing practices that Adidas still participates in. So I'm going to go with Wrangler jeans being his story.
She's going to go with Wrangler jeans. Brand, how do you feel about that decision? You're on a heater.
I think she's onto something here. I like to pull the curtain back a little bit. I typically either land with the story that is the most outlandish or the story that's the most boring. And we have two here.
Yeah.
Like, not that Louis Vuitton story is boring, but it's the most run-of-the-mill. Like,
That's right.
He created the box, okay?
And I go both ways on that. Sometimes I give you the yes.
I think it's tough because I am sure that you know that even if story one isn't true, there is a Louis Vuitton trunk. We've seen it. We know it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it how they got their start is really the question. And what you said about the way that trunks were with the rounding on top and the reasons why it was, that tracks for me. I think that story's true. I think the Wrangler story, you knew what you were doing, Dan. You knew what you were doing. You were writing a movie here, one that we all want to see, but one that is unfortunately all made up.
All right, you're both going with Wrangler. Let's get Adidas out of the way. That's a true story. Yeah, town of Bent Neck, the whole thing, Puma, Adidas. Just not great all the way around there,
Bummer.
but fascinating nonetheless.
Bummer.
Let's talk about Wrangler, shall we? Old B.B. Mills.
Yes.
Bryce Berry Mills II.
Yes.
100% made up.
Oh, we did
100% made up. That is my story,
Wow.
written like a true rags to riches, back to rags story. I had a blast making that up. The only thing I didn't do is take as long a time as I think she thinks I took on it. But aside from that, Mary Alex is correct. Louis Vuitton invented the box. Can you believe it?
Shout out box.
That's exactly right. That means the Wrangler story is my story, and that means that Mary Alex is not only
Mary Alex,
our champion of the week here on Who What When on Fashion Week. She's also bringing a fanny pack back to Newberry, South Carolina.
Goodness. They need
Mary
more of them
Alex,
there.
Congratulations, Mary Alex. How do you feel?
I am shaking with excitement. Like, this is awesome. What amazing news. So glad to have won because of a series of ridiculous answers over the last hour.
And you know what? You know what, Mary Alex? This is your fanny pack.
right.
This isn't your kids.
That's right. You
this
do what
is
you want with
yours.
it.
You do it. You earn this. You do whatever the heck you want with this fanny pack, okay?
Thank you. I sincerely appreciate it. I will wear it daily. I will wear it to fancy gala events.
As you
I'll wear
should.
it to church. I'm just thrilled to show off my fanny pack and my incredible superior fashion knowledge.
I've also worn the
Fantastic.
fanny pack to both of those
All
places.
of those places.
It's
There you
true.
go.
It's true.
It's versatile. It's versatile.
It is.
Mary Alex, thanks for joining us this week on Who What When.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was really, really fun.
And it's time to close out Fashion Week here on Who What When. Thanks again to our contestants, Justin and Mary Alex, for playing with us this week. And congratulations again to Mary Alex for being this week's Who What When champion.
Our producer is A.T. Shire, and our executive producer is Sean Birch, who we like to call the Ralph Lauren of public radio. This show is a production of South Carolina Public Radio and is made possible in part by listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina.
You can join us for a future episode of Who What When. Just call or text us at 803-470-6347 or send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
You can find out more about the show at our website, whowhatwhenshow.org.
And you can listen to an extended version of the show on your favorite podcasting app or through your smart speaker.
I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Join us again next week for more history, games, and trivia right here on Who What When.